Hello everyone, I am Neha Kazi from Leelavati Lal Judayal High School and College of Commerce. In our political science class today, we are going to talk about chapter number 2, the electoral process. So we are going to have a quick synopsis of what the entire chapter is all about. So let's begin. So let's first talk about elections. All right. So here in elections, it is basically a medium to select our representatives. All right. So elections brings in change in power through peaceful means. So we go and cast our vote, and accordingly we select who we want to rule over the country or to take decisions on our behalf for the welfare of the people, for the welfare of the society. So direct political parties get a chance to rule. Correct? So there are so many political parties that are there, and they come and they ask for votes. They tell us what they are going to do, what their agenda is all about, and accordingly we select our representative. So due to elections, changes are seen in government policies. So every government which comes in, they have their own policies of how they want to bring in development in the country. So society undergoes many types of changes and democracy is sustained. All right. So positive changes, of course, is what we're going to focus here on. So because of elections, that is what happens, right? So that is why we need elections. Now to conduct this election, there is an election commission. So let us talk about that now. So the Election Commission of India and the state level election commission conducts all the important elections of the country. So two, we are talking about Election Commission of India and the state level election commission. All right. So whatever elections are going to get conducted, they are the ones who are going to make sure that it is done properly. So under the Article 324 of the Constitution, Election Commission is an independent autonomous body, which means no political party is or has an influence on the election commission. Okay, it is not the government that does the election process. It is this independent autonomous body, election commission, which looks after the entire election process. All right. So the responsibility of them is to conduct the elections, managing and supervising the entire election process. All right. So they will make sure that the elections that are going on should be done in a peaceful and proper manner. So the National Election Commission conducts elections of the president, vice president, and the administrative elections that are there to the parliament and state legislature. This is the responsibility of National Election Commission. Then what does the State Election Commission do? So they are formed for conducting elections to local self-government institutions. All right. So locally the elections that are going to happen, that is what the state government is going to conduct. Let's proceed and talk about the election commissioner. Now, because we have the election commission, we also have the election commissioner. So the election commission consists of the chief election commissioner and two additional commissioners. And they are all appointed by the president of India. Okay. So a commissioner cannot be just easily removed from his duty. All right. For any basic reasons. That's not possible. Okay. Because see, anyway, election commission is an autonomous body. So election commissioner has a lot of powers, right? So just for any tribal reason, we cannot remove the election commissioner, okay? So here the constitution has preserved the independence of the election commission, which we also saw previously that it is an autonomous body, all right? So as the election commission does not have a separate staff, government officers, teachers, and government employees help them to execute the process of election. So whenever there are elections going on, it will basically be the government working people and the teachers, government teachers, right? So they are the ones who are going to help the election commission in conducting the entire election process. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the functions of election commission. So here's a list. We will just go through this quickly because this is what you have to keep in mind in terms of your answer as well. Okay, so the functions of election commission, first they'll prepare the voters list, okay, and then they decide the timetable and the program of election. So when it is to be conducted and how it is to be conducted. Then scrutiny of the application of candidates. So whoever wants to contest the election, they will give their application. So the election commission is the one who will go through it and see if the candidate is fit for the job. Okay. Then to give recognition to the political parties. So let's say if we all come together and we want to form a political party. So we approach the election commission, and if they approve it, then they will give us a recognition and we will become a political party. Okay. They also try to resolve the disputes relating to elections. So if there are any problems that are there, the election commission will try to sort it out. Okay. And then comes in the restructuring the constituencies. So here we have constituencies and which constituency should work how, and it should be clubbed with some other constituency or should be segregated. This is what will be decided by the election commission. Let's proceed and talk about the process of elections. Okay, so first thing, there has to be constituencies, all right. Then you have a candidate, who will contest election from that specific constituency. They'll also finalize the voters list. Okay, so every time if they during the elections they come up with various ways in which people can register themselves for the elections, all right, so that their name comes in. Like above 18 you can contest the election, like you can go and vote. Then nomination of the candidates and scrutiny of their nomination forms will also be done by the election commission, all right. Then the campaign will be there, the actual voting will happen, then you count the votes, and then the results of the elections come out, and then if there is any problem about it, they will sort it out. So this is the process in which the election happens, all right. Then we have the code of conduct. Now this means that there are certain rules which need to be followed by the government, the political parties, and even the voters before and during the election. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the election commission to conduct free and fair elections. Okay, so it should be free, which means you don't have to pay anything for it, and fair, which means no malpractices should be done. So it is the election commission's responsibility to curb the malpractices during elections. A model code of conduct is issued. So there is a list that everybody has to follow, a list of rules that people need to follow. No malpractices should be done, like bribing, any kind of corruption, trying to hamper the votes. These are all malpractices. So this shouldn't happen. So its strict implementation gives a sense of relief to the common man, because the common man then is not under any kind of pressure and can go and vote freely. So this is what the election commission makes sure. So the code of conduct is applied, like I already said, to the government, the political parties, the candidates who are contesting the elections, the voters as well, before and during the election process. All right. And even the government cannot break these rules, because like we already know that election commission is an independent body. What they say is to be followed by everyone. That includes the government also. Let's proceed and talk about what challenges do they face. All right. So here, because we have a large geographical area, plus the population is a lot, right? So there is a lot of a big challenge, we can say, all right, while conducting elections, because it should be free, it should be fair, everybody should come and vote, right? Then another problem is misuse of money. So if you try to bribe someone for the vote, it is not correct. And this is one of the major challenge which we face in a democracy as well. Then prohibit candidates with criminal background from contesting. So this is one major thing which we need to know here, that if a person has a criminal background, they are not supposed to contest election. Okay, so this is also one major problem that the election commission faces, that they have to stop such people from contesting elections. Then violence which erupts during elections. So this is again a major challenge which is there. They need to stop any kind of such practice. Okay, so there shouldn't be any kind of violence, right? Then the practice of family monopoly possesses a greater challenge, which means family history and family background. So if I am in politics, my son also comes in politics, no matter what. So family monopoly, all right, which means only you are there. You are not letting anybody else come and contest the elections. So this is again a challenge which the election commission has to overcome. All right. Then electoral reform. Now earlier there were certain things which have now been changed compared to the past time. So to maintain the future and credibility of democracy, it is necessary to bring about improvements in electoral process also, right? So whatever are the shortcomings, whatever are the faults or mistakes in the election process, it needs to be overcome. All right. So let us see what's done for that. So which improvements are required here, which means that there has to be more participation of women in politics. So 50% seats should be given to women candidate by every political party. Okay. Then election ticket should not be given to any candidate who has a criminal background. Okay, we already saw this is a major challenge, so this needs to be improved. Then any kind of misuse of money should not be done. Government should take care of the expenses of election process. All right, whatever expenses are to be done, they should bear it. Then the laws and regulations are to be followed strictly by the political parties, the candidates, everybody for that matter. All right, and they have to amend the Representation of People's Act. All right, amend means to bring about changes in it. All right. Now there is one change which has happened, which is from ballot boxes to EVM machines, electoral voting machines. Okay, so ballot boxes were used earlier, all right, till 1999. Okay, so what we used to do is basically here there were boxes, you had to drop in your vote there. Okay, that is what your ballot boxes are. Then came in from, it was used everywhere, EVMs were used everywhere in India since 2004, and it came in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Delhi in the year 1998. So this is what EVM, that is electronic voting machine, which is battery operated. All right, so the candidates sign, symbol, everything will be there, buttons will be there. So you press against the button you want to vote for and automatically your vote is registered. Okay, so you don't have to drop in anywhere something manually, right? So what are the advantages of EVM? So it saved a lot of paper. Okay, boxes need to be made, papers need to be printed for each voter who was coming to drop in the vote, right? So a lot of paper is now saved because of the EVM, because the same machine can be used by the people. All right, then it makes the counting also much easier and faster because everything is electronic. All right, so in short span of time you can get the results. It is automatically registered and counted, whereas in ballot boxes people had to manually do it, so it used to take up a lot of time also. So yes, and it is also helpful for specially challenged people to cast their vote because it is very easy. So they don't have to hold a pen, tick mark or do something, fold the paper, put it in the drop box. No, they just have to come, press the button and there their work is done. All right. So that's the advantages. Now we come to the types of elections. We have general elections, midterm elections and by-elections. So general election is that for the Lok Sabha, which is held every 5 years. Okay. Midterm election is, let's say, suppose if the government loses its majority in the parliament before completing its tenure, then again we'll have to do election. Okay, so here what happens is midterm elections will take place in such a scenario. All right, let's say if it's a coalition government and one party comes, takes back their support, so then there is no majority, correct? And in this scenario again there has to be elections. Then comes in by-election. So here what happens is if an elected member of the Lok Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha resigns or dies, then by-elections will take place. Okay. So that's all students in this chapter. I hope you all have understood it. Thank you so much.